680's Richard Southern joins us now. And Richard, the federal Liberals tabled their budget today. So a couple nuggets in there. The deficit is reduced to about $23 billion versus $25 billion. They're eliminating the public transit tax credit. They're also now going to be charging HST on Uber. They're going to be allowing some women who go on maternity leave to actually start maternity leave earlier. How are investors reacting to this budget?
Yeah, I think the one thing investors were looking for, Francis, was a potential hike to the capital gains tax, and that was not included in the budget. There was big concern about the capital gains rate going up, and it is staying steady. But beyond that, and you pointed a few of them out, I'm looking at some things that do sort of impact your wallet. That public transit tax credit, you mentioned that. So currently, if you have a Metro Pass, you can deduct that cost from your taxes. You will no longer be able to do that, and that will effectively cost Metro Pass holders a couple of $100s more a year, maybe as much as $600 because your effective tax rate will be higher. Vices will cost more a little bit. 24 case of beer going up 5 cents, a pack of smokes going up 53 cents. You mentioned Uber. They're going to be charging taxes now, Uber, so that'll effectively raise the price of your ride-sharing ride. And finally, the Canada Savings Bond, which has been around since 1946, is being eliminated. Francis, there's not a real compelling case to buy a Canada Savings Bond. You get better rates at the same sort of safety with other financial products. They will honor the old Canada Savings Bonds, but you won't be able to buy any new ones.
Yeah, it certainly served its purpose. Time to move on. And you kind of wonder if Sears has served its purpose, and is it time for them to move on? Are they closing their doors here in Canada?
Yeah, it's kind of been death by a thousand cuts when it comes to Sears. We heard from the U.S. entity, Sears out of the States today, and it said that there is, and I quote, substantial doubts about its ability to keep its stores open. It's lost some $10 billion in recent years. I talked to executives at Sears Canada today. They tell me that they will stay open if the U.S. Sears closes. It is a different entity up here. They have their own supply chain. It's a separately traded stock. However, they face the same problems as Sears in the States. A lot of money is going online. They've been selling stores. They've been laying off people. So I have my doubts about Sears Canada. But again, the executives promising me that they are in a better financial shape than in the States. Sears Canada stock, Francis, down 4%. Sears Holdings in the U.S. down more than 12% today.
Some trouble at Enbridge. They announced sweeping layoffs today.
About 1,000 job cuts, and that's effectively 6% of the overall workforce at the Calgary-based company. And the cuts come after Enbridge spent $37 billion to buy Spectra Energy, which is a pipeline company out of Houston. We're hearing reports that many of the job cuts will be based in Houston, but officially Enbridge says it'll affect the entire company. So again, 1,000 pink slips being handed out at Enbridge today. The stock was higher, Francis.
Well, we all know Toronto loves Drake, and maybe they're curious about where Drake's going to live on the bridle path, because we now have a look at his big mansion under construction. Yeah, we got drone footage, and it was his architect that posted this drone footage online. So, yeah, Drake building a nice pad, a big pad in the bridle path, 21,000 square foot mansion on Park Lane Circle. It's going to have a massive basketball court, a gym, a big pool. There's a massive foyer, which you can see here in the footage. They're getting all the plywood up. The property itself was bought back in September for $6.7 million. And maybe Drizzy will have you and I over when it's all ready to go, Francis. I'm sure he can squeeze us into that 21,000 square foot place somewhere or the other. And you know what? We can bring him something, because if he likes McDonald's, you can now get their signature sauces in a bottle. A lot of people excited about this because you couldn't buy the McDonald's sauces up until now. But McDonald's Canada is going to start selling 3 of its signature sauces in Canadian grocery stores, including the Big Mac sauce along with the McChicken and fish fillet sauce. Some people were actually selling Big Mac sauce online for as much as $100. McDonald's has been trying to diversify. I know, you can find an aficionado for anything, Francis. But, you know, McDonald's has been trying to diversify its offerings to boost sales, and I guess this is one way to go about doing that. Yeah, I'd not be paying $100 for Big Mac sauce. Let me just make that clear. We got to look inside the We got to look inside the old Brunswick House today. What does it look like in there? So a year ago today, almost, they poured the last pint of the Brunny. It closed down.
it's now going to open again, but as a Rexall pharmacy. So we're taking a look here at the Rexall, and they kept a lot of the old Brunswick fixtures. So the old chandeliers that were in that 140-year-old bar, they're still there. The ceilings, the tin ceilings, they're still there, and the outside of the building has been preserved as well. We're seeing a lot of iconic Toronto properties change. The Hard Rock in Yonge Dundas Square becoming a Shoppers Drug Mart. So that's what the Brunny looks like right now, Francis.
It is a changing Toronto. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.